how's it going?
Hey Eli, it's going pretty good.
I bet you're wondering why I called you here to start recording on a random Saturday morning, huh?
I'm not, but for the sake of the bit, yes I am.
Okay, Ty, well, it's August right now, but when this recording comes through, it's gonna be pretty close to your birthday, right?
That's accurate. It'll be pretty close to my birthday.
Okay, remember that time when we lived together and I bought you a cookie cake for your birthday, but I said that you couldn't have any unless you went in halvesies?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, Ty, I got you another birthday present, but you still have to go halvesies on it. I've made you a Halloween special episode.
Yay!
But you do have to play it, and you do have to edit it. Because you started doing sound effects, and I don't know how to do those, so.
Okay, that works.
All right, so now, Ty, if you look under your desk, you'll find a character sheet.
Okay.
That you made.
That I made.
And you prepared.
Okay.
because this whole intro is actual bullshit. But do you want to tell us a little bit about the character that you've prepared?
Quick side note, this, not all of it's bullshit. You did indeed buy me a cookie cake, back when we were roommates, and, I did end up putting, some sort of, all seasoning thing on it. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember you put the Tony Sacheries on there.
The Tony Sacheries. Gotta say, it was not bad.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I was like, this is... I was doing it as a goof, but I was like, no, this is actually pretty good. Like, it blended very well with the sugariness. Anyway, you were saying.
Do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about the character that you're playing today?
Well, I'll be playing Billy Blue Tibbs. He is a human ranger, level 5, per your instructions. He is kind of a wannabe lawman.
A what?
Likes to a wannabe lawman, like a lawman.
Lawman. I thought you said like a wannabe woman, and I was like, what? Like,
no. He is a wannabe lawman. Let me just be very, very want to be lawman. Lawman who basically likes to. He has made it his life's goal to hunt werewolves. That is what he wants to do with that is what he do. That is what he do.
That's what Billy do.
That's what Billy do. And do werewolves exist in Side Character Quest? Listen, it's hard to tell. He thinks they do.
Billy's a man long on story, short on truth, based on your description.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, well, cool. So I have given you three,
yeah,
magical items that you will use, and we will see them as they come up. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy my birthday present to you, Ty.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So this is gonna be fun because I get to try a variety of Southern accents.
Nice.
All right, so we'll start with this little intro here. A question: do you go by Billy, or does he go by Billy or Blue?
It'll come up in the show.
Okay. Billy Blue Tibbs is in the back of a wagon that is part of a supply caravan. It's been about a 3 days journey, along with riders carrying messages from other towns, and merchants and supply drivers bringing their wares to remote customers. Blue has been summoned to the small settlement of Brotherly, a town in the foothills of the Brothers Mountain Range. Despite it being located in these foothills for the purpose of serving as a supply hub for settlements in the mountains themselves, Brotherly has struggled to grow due to some poor luck and even worse rumors. Rumors that Blue is here to investigate. On the drive into town, Blue spent some time listening to fellow travelers, all of whom were worried about their trek to Brotherly. You see, travelers tended to end up dead in Brotherly, especially around a full moon, and due to some harsh traveling weather, Blue just happened to show up at the town gate the morning before a full moon. But rumors don't bother old Blue none, and if there's a monster killing strangers in a town he's visiting, well, Lumen help the monster, because Mr. Tibbs will not.
Nice. I like it.
So the wagon that you are riding on comes to a stop, and you hear someone yell, "All right, we're here at Brotherly. Everyone out."
Oh, all right then. I stand up and sort of dust off my duster and hop down. I've got a pack slung over my arm or over my shoulder. I've got a hand crossbow just sort of knocked onto a belt loop on my side. And yeah, just hop down and hop out. Well, thanks, friend. Appreciate the ride. Do I owe you anything else?
Mr. Tibbs, you paid for it when you saved our caravan from those wolves out there. You just keep yourself safe here in Brotherly. There's some bad rumors around this place, and as you look around, you see that your fellow travelers all are kind of like looking around nervously, worried about what their fate may hold in this town.
Well, calm down there, friends. I see that you're looking a little bit uneasy, a little bit like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But don't you worry. Your friend Tibbs is here, and he'll keep things nice and safe.
Thanks, Mr. Tibbs. Do you want to roll me a perception check?
Yeah, sure. Just so you know, my passive perception is 11.
Okay.
So not great. So I'm generally probably going to have to roll.
Yeah.
That would be, you add wisdom to that?
Yes.
Okay, that would be 19.
Oh, wow, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So the wagon has stopped just outside the gate that leads into Brotherly. To give you an idea, think main road in a Wild West town.
Okay.
The gate is more of a wooden archway on which hangs a sign that says that it looks newly painted and reads, "Welcome to Brotherly, Gate to the Brothers." Under that greeting reads, "From that which is learned do we forge that which is known." And because you rolled such a good perception check, you see that little part from that which is learned do we forge that which is known is painted over a carving that looks much older that reads, "Protected from the dark by Lumen's light."
Okay.
You also see, just to give you an idea, Brotherly is a town that almost entirely exists on a single intersection. On this main road, you watch as supply wagons roll towards the general store and the public library, situated on the west side of the street, and the Brotherly Inn and Saloon across the general store on the east side.
Okay.
Messengers carrying wanted posters from nearby towns begin to head toward the sheriff's office that stands right by the entrance to town, and other messengers go towards the stables to refresh their horses or buy new equipment from the blacksmith and leather workers. More wealthy travelers head towards the tailor or toward the barber surgeon to refresh themselves from traveling, and a couple of drifters head towards the hunting goods store. You were summoned to Brotherly by Sheriff McDaniels to investigate a series of murders that have all occurred on full moons. He told you that he would be in his office from sunup to sundown unless they got to fighting at the saloon. The town seems quiet in the early morning. Where do you go first?
So I think that he would probably his instinct would be to go to the sheriff's office and talk to that guy, since he had told me he would be there. However, he also doesn't know exactly how big the saloon is, and he wants to the inn and saloon, and he probably wants to make sure he's going to have a room tonight. So probably first things first, walk over to the saloon, talk to the innkeeper, and like set up a room for himself for tonight.
Okay, great. So you walk over to the inn and saloon. It's actually the largest building in this area, because it is not only just a saloon, but it's also like a boarding house
Gotcha.
as well, where a lot of people. So there is a homestead area where most of the town lives and has their homes, but the inn and saloon also serves as a boarding house for, some of the people who prefer to live in town. So there's the little porch. Go up the porch. There's some saloon doors. Do you just kind of slowly walk in, or do you like kick those some bitches in?
I think I more saunter in, saunter through those salon doors without much of a care. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you walk in, and it is really early in the morning. As such, I've decided that your first stop does not count towards your time.
Okay.
Like we mentioned. So for listeners, this whole investigation will take place within one day. There's going to be a morning block, an afternoon block, and an evening block, and each of those blocks will allow Ty to investigate 2 locations before switching to the next time period. So your first stop is a freebie, mostly because I expected your first stop to be the sheriff's office, but it is what it is.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so you walk in, and it is early in the morning, so there's like 1 or 2 people asleep on a table, from partying the night before, so I haven't gotten up.
Yeah.
Behind the bar, which is somewhat lower than a normal bar would be, that you would expect, is the bartender. He's a dwarf, long brown hair tied back, beard sort of in a braid as well. And he has clearly just gotten up, and he's kind of cleaning up the bar, getting ready for the day ahead. He looks up and he says, in a voice that I came up with last night, but I can't remember, "Hey there, how can I help you, sir?"
Well, so as I've been walking over there, walking past the tables, I've just grabbed the handles of various empty used glasses and have brought them over the table. A very kind, just sort of set them down on the counter so he doesn't have to go collect them later. Howdy, sir. The name's Billy Tibbs, but you can call me Blue. On account of my blue skin. All my friends call me that.
Wait. You have blue skin?
Just roll with it, Eli.
Right. Okay. Why? I didn't know you had blue skin. I thought you were a human. It's fine.
I am a human.
Well, good to meet you, Mr. Blue. My name's Melvin Underbrag. You can call me Mel. How can I help you here?
Well, Mel, he sort of rests his shoulder or his elbow onto the counter. Well, Mel, I think that I find myself in your town, but I don't find myself in any particular lodgings. I was wondering if I could reserve a room for tonight and possibly for the foreseeable days.
He perks up, and he's like, You want to stay here in town on the night of a full moon?"
Well, yes, sir. I don't have. I can assure you, Mr. Mel, that anything that comes out under the light of the moon has more reason to fear me than I have to fear it.
You one of them werewolf hunters sheriff's been calling in lately?
He smiles and sort of perks up and taps a quiver of bolts on his side. Why, yes, sir. I believe I am.
Well, I gotta say that, Mr. Blue, you're about the only one dumb enough or brave enough to show up. Yep, if old Sheriff McDaniels called you in, then you got a room here. But, smart man would be out of here before nightfall.
Well, no one's ever called me a smart man, but they have called me a brave man, so I'm happy to stick around and help out you kind folks.
Appreciate it then. If you can really solve these murders, solve these crimes, bring visitors back to this town, well, I know I'd owe you a great debt. Here's your key, Mr. Blue. And he hands you a key on sort of like a little wooden peg.
He tips his head, takes the key, and goes and settles down in the room, just make sure that it looks good. Probably leaves some of his stuff.
Sure.
You know, his main pack. He keeps his quiver and his hand crossbow on him, maybe also a hatchet, but most of his stuff he leaves up in his room.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's the room is a pretty basic standard room. Just sort of a bed, There's a desk and a chair there too. A window that kind of overlooks the main thoroughfare of Brotherly. Yeah, I mean that's about it.
Right. Once he's done with that, he's probably gonna head over to the sheriff.
Okay, cool. So you walk pretty much directly across the street to where the sheriff's office is. It's a smaller building. There are a couple windows. There's one window with bars over it that you can assume probably leads into the jail cell that he has there. Mm-hmm. When you walk in, it's, a small office. There's like a jail cell that probably holds like one or two people. Kind of get the idea that it's probably just there to hold drunks that get in a fight. There's a desk at which sits a gruff half-elf, whose description I have is Sheriff John McDaniels is a gruff half-elf who looks accustomed to sitting at his desk waiting for something to happen. There's a corkboard with different wanted posters and stuff up. There's like a bench there, but really pretty sparsely furnished room. The sheriff is kind of leaning back at his desk. When you walk in, he looks over and he stands up and he says, "Well, you must be Blue then."
Well, howdy, sir. How did you recognize me?
Okay, Ty, do you actually have blue skin?
I actually do have blue skin.
Okay, cool. Well,
and this is not a normal thing.
Okay.
In side character quest, just so you know.
Cool. Well, Mr. Tibbs, I didn't call a whole lot of people in that have blue skin, so.
Well, that's a fair guess. Good deduction there.
I hate to judge people off their appearances, but normally when a human walks in with blue skin, it's just you.
Well, that's accurate.
Well, Mr. Blue, come on in. Would you prefer Mr. Blue, Mr. Tibbs, Billy? Which would you prefer?
Blue's fine. You can call me that if you'd like, Mr. Tibbs, if you prefer. But I'd like to think that we can move past the formal stages of this relationship pretty fast.
I appreciate that, Blue. Well, you can call me John. Go ahead and take a seat here on this bench, and we can get right down to putting these troubles behind us.
He sits down. So, what can you tell me, John, about what's been happening around here?
Well, Mr. Blue, for the past 8 months or so, someone's gone missing. And the only thing that we've been able to find of them is an arm or a leg. Sometimes, a foot. But rumor is that these murders were committed by a werewolf, on accounts of them happening every month on the full moon. But also, because one citizen, little chatty Cathy, Miss Delilah Dalmere, claimed to seen a wolf-like creature sort of around town a few months before these murders began. Now, I'm a man of science. I don't believe in curses and werewolves, so I don't think they're connected. But I figure I call in a werewolf specialist, and maybe you can put an end to these rumors.
Well, I've got to say, Mr. John, if there is a werewolf here, I will find it, and if I don't find this werewolf, then I'd say that your science has won out in at least this occasion.
Now, Mr. Blue, for my money, like I said, I don't really put no stock in the whole werewolf rumor, but for my money, I think it's Tomlin LaCroix. He's this drifter who was first seen around here around the same time as the first murder, and he ain't left since. Now, I would just go up and arrest the man myself, but he's a sneaky little fella. Can't really catch him. He's out in the woods, out near the homesteads. Really spooks all the fine citizens of this town.
What can you tell me about Mr. McCroy's appearance? So I might spot him.
Well, Mr. LaCroix, he's a halfling, so he's pretty short.
LaCroix, sorry about that.
Yeah, LaCroix. I mean, McCroy, whatever. Whatever he is, he's a scumbag out here mooching off the fine taxpayers, living in the woods, being shady. It's hard to catch him. He's sneaky, like I said. I mean, he's tiny. He's hard to find. He can hide behind a bush.
I found that halflings, even when they make the worst possible mistakes, sometimes they are able to almost re-roll said mistakes. almost as if the dice of fate have been changed in their favor. Now, you said he's off in the homestead. I'd also like to talk to Mrs. Delilah Demir, who you say originally saw this creature. Where might I find her?
Well, Miss Delilah works for Mr. Plinkstone, over at the general store. She's normally running the counter from sun up to sundown. And believe me, you go over there, she'll give you an earful or two, or maybe four. I wouldn't put much stock in what she says. She's willing to tell about anything that'll get people talking to her. But yeah, she's right next door at the general store.
All right there, sir. I think I might as well give it a shot because, that's the lead I've got. Well, at that, Blue stands up and sort of grabs the bars, the iron bars of the jail cell, just sort of shakes them a little bit, just in a sort of superficial, like, check that they're sturdy. Well, as long as this here cage is nice and strong, I think we'll be prepared for no matter what kind of culprit ends up being responsible for this. So, I sort of tip my head again to John. So, I think I'm gonna be on my way, unless you have anything else you'd like to add.
No, sir, Mr. Blue. Just, you got any questions? You need to find anyone? You come and talk to me. I know basically where everyone is and sort of their goings and comings. Good luck out there, and, I'm sure that cage is plenty strong enough for a little halfling like Mr. LaCroix, so I'll be seeing you.
Oh, actually, there's one thing I would like to ask you. The people that have been murdered, have they been local folk? Have they been people with families around here? Anybody I can talk to, or any sort of connection that you're aware of?
No, sir, that's the thing. They're all travelers. They all come in about a couple days before. They're all seen the day of the full moon, and then their arm or leg or pinky finger gets shown up the next day. Not a trace of anything else. Just
all right.
And oh, those parts.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. Those parts often find themselves around the homestead. So, telling you might want to check out Mr. LaCroix.
Has there been any particular pattern to those parts? Any repeat pieces?
I mean, there's been a left leg, right leg. We found a torso once. That one was hard to identify, actually. They all got crazy bite marks on them.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know what Mr. Tomlin's doing. I think he's just taking advantage of the hysteria of local folks. And maybe tearing them up, feeding them to dogs or something, whatever sick things that man does.
Well, I know a thing or two about mass panics, about mass hysterias and that sort of thing, so don't you worry, I'll take a fine look at all of this. And with that, he turns and starts heading out across the street to the general store.
All right, on your way out, he kind of tips his hat and says, "Good luck, Mr. Blue."
Thank you, sir.
Alright, so the general store is actually right next door to the sheriff's office. It is a very large building, but when you walk in, the actual general store portion is smaller than you would expect from the exterior. When you walk in, a little bell jingles. Diddling.
Do I see why it's smaller on the inside?
Yeah, there's a wall that cuts in half. So the general store is known as the general store and public library.
Ah, okay.
There is a door on this wall that says public library, and then under it, knock first. When you walk in, little bell jingles. There are a couple of people in just kind of shopping. They're all kind of looking in a rush. Some people are like just run in, grab something, go to the counter where there's a nice young woman ringing up people, taking money, selling goods. She looks up and she says, "Hi there, good morning. Welcome to the Brotherly General Store and Public Library. Let me know if you need any help."
Well, I sort of survey the area to see if anybody looks shifty, but assuming that nobody does, I'm going to just sort of walk over to the counter, rest my elbow on that counter, and say, "Well, howdy there, Miss Delilah. Sheriff John let me know that you might be a person that I should talk to."
Oh, you must be Blue. I've heard that you are coming to help us. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. You have the most interesting complexion of any human I've ever seen. It is a delight to meet you. And she kind of puts out her hand.
He shakes her hand.
And a true gentleman too. Well, how can I help you? I'm just Delilah Dahmere, just running the general store. Not like I know a whole lot or anything. When she says that, there's a guy in the back who just goes, "Ha!"
Okay. Well, Delilah, Sheriff John let me know, as you're probably keenly aware, there's a lot of rumors going about this way and that about werewolves in the area. And Sheriff John let me know that you supposedly saw a wolf-like creature out and about a few months ago. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about that. Maybe the time and place, that sort of thing.
Sure. Well, don't tell anyone I told you this. Because, I don't like to go spreading tales out of school. But about 9 or 10 months ago, I was out walking out, just enjoying the full moon. Probably the last time I'll ever enjoy a full moon walk like that again. Was walking out toward the old temple, where those two brothers kind of still worship that old god Lumen, and I was just out walking there, and I heard a loud howling, and I looked over, and there's this vicious-looking half-wolf, half-man monster just skulking around. And I said, "Oh no, this is not how Delilah goes out. Not today." And I turned around, and I ran back home, and I don't think that thing chased me, but, I've been ever so worried that, maybe it got my scent. Maybe it's been hunting me. Maybe all these deaths are just 'cause it got the scent of old Delilah Dahmere and can't leave until it gets a bite out of me. Oh, Mr. Blue, I've been so scared.
Well, don't you worry there, Miss Delilah. I'm definitely going to be able to take care of this. You mentioned a couple of brothers at the temple. These new folks in town.
No. These are the old priest of Lumen, Zechariah and Zebediah. They're good meaning, but they've been around since the town was founded. It feels like. Not very many people go out there now that we got the public library and have been turning our minds towards science and knowledge to get us through these troubling times. This town, we used to be a Lumen worshiping town, but Lumen never did nothing for us out here. People out here starving, waiting for more visitors to come, going poor, getting homeless. So we decided, no, we're gonna learn more about the outside world. Mr. Jeremiah back there, he started up the public library, got us all interested in educating ourselves, and now we don't have as much need for them preachy types,
I understand where you're coming from there, ma'am. Well, I think that I should probably get a going. He grabs I don't know, like a piece of jerky and tosses her a coin.
Oh, thank you kindly, sir. Oh, sir, if you want, you can always talk to Mr. Jeremiah back there. He's in the public library right now. He knows all sorts. He's probably the smartest man here. Knows all sorts of stuff. If it's a werewolf, he probably knows how to get him. If it's not a werewolf, he probably knows who it is. But for my money, it's that werewolf. I told you, he was out there.
Well, it doesn't matter quite as much what you know, but what you do with it. So. If he has the knowledge and I have the doing, then I think we'll make a good team. And with that, he tips his hat and walks over to the public library, knocks on the door.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
6.
6? Okay, cool. Yep, you walk up to the door. You can almost hear someone whispering in there.
Okay.
But when you knock on the door, the whispering stops, and you hear someone walk over and open the door. And the door opens to a very tall, thin man. He's got reading spectacles on. His hair is kind of Okay, I have him based off a very specific character, and I don't know how to describe his hair. Um, he's got sort of angular cheekbones. He's wearing a very nice, like, vest.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and says, yes, hello. Welcome to the Brotherly Public Library. I must say, sir, I hope you do not take offense, but that is an interesting shade of blue. Would you mind telling me, was your mother an elemental? Or your father like a demon or something? I'm a man who knows a lot of things, and I don't know about... And he kind of, like, waves his hand. This.
Well, there, sir. I do not take offense to your inquiry at all. It's a logical guess for you to think maybe an elemental or maybe some sort of demon folk. Although I personally have met neither. He sort of steps into the library with him, if you're gonna allow.
When you do that, he says, yes. Come in. Close the door behind you. We don't want to let Nostradamus out.
Oh, cute.
And he points over. On his desk, there's a gray toad just sitting there.
Oh, I was picturing a kitty, but a toad. Okay. I sit down. I assume there's a chair somewhere. I sort of sit down and get a very relaxed posture.
So inside the public library, it's just walls covered in bookshelves. As far as you can tell, there's no real organization to it. But there are, like, piles of books on the floor, and each pile has, like, a name card on it. Like, you see one name card that just says John McDaniels, one name card that says Melvin Underbreg, and other names of, like, people that you can assume might be citizens, but have come in and grab some books that they're interested in reading and put them in their own separate stack.
Gotcha.
There is a large reading desk in the middle of the room. There's no one. There's no one there. It's still kind of early in the morning. Jeremiah Plankston has his personal desk in the back where there are large books and notebooks, and there's, like, the big gray toad sitting on the desk. And he motions to one of the chairs at the reading desk and says, "Sir, I am so sorry. I have not asked your name or given you mine. I'm Jeremiah Plankston, the librarian here. I was just about to make a cup of tea. Would you care for some?"
Well, thank you, sir. I'd happily take a cup. Do you pass me some?
Yeah. He goes behind his desk and fixes some tea and hands you some.
Well, thank you, sir. And he reaches into I reach into my pocket and pull out a small flask. I unscrew the top and pour some of the stuff into the tea. Well, sir, to answer your question,
he stares at you. He stares at you. His face is, like, frozen in, like, politeness, and he stares at you doing that, and it's just like, you know, when you're around very polite people and you do something unpolite, and they know, but they don't stop smiling politely. That's the look that you get from him. And then he looks back up. Now, how may I help you?
Sorry. To answer your question from earlier regarding my unusual complexion.
Yes.
As you may have heard, it seems like my reputation precedes me to some extent in this here town. I fancy myself a bit of a werewolf pursuer. And as part of that, you have to take certain precautions. This here, I shake my flask, is a special tincture of my own making, which invokes various deterrents for the werewolves. Basically, it's a nice concoction of silver and liquor. Took me a while to realize.
I thought that you were gonna have, like, some sort of, like, stewed wolf's bane or something, but nope, just silver and bourbon, Kentucky barrel bourbon.
And it took me a while to put two and two together, but the more silver that one takes into the body, the bluer their skin gets. It's a weird condition, but it is factually accurate.
Huh.
And as you can see, I've been doing this for quite some time, so I like to think that if a werewolf ever managed to get a bite on me, they would spit me right out.
Alright, so roll me.
I'm not expecting any actual like game mechanic benefit from this.
Gotcha.
Just so you know.
Oh, I see what happened. Okay, sorry. I have my like stats of. Oh, there we go. Okay, roll me a insight check real quick, and I'm gonna roll something as well.
Okay.
I'm not saying that anything suspicious is happening, but
18.
when you say that you're drinking silver, he visibly flinches.
Okay.
He also kind of looks at your arrows or your bolts and your spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And like seems like his sort of polite demeanor kind of cracks a little bit. And he says, "Well, Mr. Tibbs, I'm assuming that's who you are. I don't believe you gave me your name yet, which is not super polite, but it's fine. It's fine. I've heard from."
My apologies, sir. The name's Billy Tibbs.
All right, well, I must say, I'm fairly certain that drinking silver is highly poisonous. But if your only side effect has been your interesting condition, then I guess carry on. So you say that drinking silver is a cure for being a werewolf, or like just a haha, gotcha werewolf in case you get bit?
Well, I personally don't know whether it is a cure or I don't know how exactly it would affect being a werewolf, because, never really let one live in the past.
Huh.
So it's hard to tell.
Okay, all right, interesting. Well, how can I help you?
Well, Mrs. Delilah out front told me that you were the sort of folk that knows a lot about this town, the goings on, and what sort of specifically, she suggested you might have some opinions about what might have been killing folks around here.
Oh, yes. Well, no offense to you and your occupation, sir, but
Yes, sir.
obviously it's not a werewolf. Because werewolves don't exist, and it's just as simple as that. I believe that it's that ne'er-do-well, Mr. Tomlin LaCroix, which if you talk to the sheriff, he will probably tell you the same thing, because that's what he told me. And it's just as simple as that. Look, I have a whole thesis disproving werewolves. If you would like to read it, over here on my desk, just giving you the scientific information and proofs that all rumors of werewolves have just been generally a dog attack. Dogs attack people, and people don't like to think that their pet dogs bite people, but they do sometimes. And I have plenty of books on the subject, and yeah, it's clearly just Mr. LaCroix.
At that, I stand up and I grab a card and a little paper card, and a quill, and I write my name on it. Well, I don't have time right now for any light reading, but you bet I'll take a swing by pretty soon to take another look.
Yes.
And I place that card onto his paper and say, how about you go ahead and add any other research materials that you think I might take a shine to my pile.
Yes, right away, sir. It was nice meeting you, Mr. Tibbs. Please come by at any time. You have a good day, sir. And he kind of gives a short, little, quick, light bow, and he takes your card, and he turns to the shelves and starts perusing through some of the books. The toad sits on the desk and kind of stares at you as you leave.
I don't quite leave yet.
Okay.
As he's starting to turn, Billy is going to he says, now, just one moment there, friend. we've just made acquaintance, and I don't think it's quite right to make a new acquaintance without a quick handshake of friendship. And I stick out my hand, and I'm gonna roll an intimidation check.
Okay. He is gonna.
I'm trying to intimidate him with my my overt politeness, if that makes sense.
Sure. So he has rolled a wisdom check.
17.
All right, so he looks and he's like, of course, how rude of me. My customs might be slightly different from your own, but I apologize. And he looks at your hand and he kind of looks at your glove, like he's inspecting to see, like, how dirty it might be.
Oh.
But he reaches out and he shakes it and he's like, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you too, sir. And he turns and walks out. And as he does, he sort of curses to himself that he had forgotten that he was wearing gloves, and was hoping to see his reaction to grabbing his bare hand. Man, I had told you that I was wearing gloves.
Yeah. They're one of the magic items that I gave you.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of magic items, just to let you know, your spurs are still jingling.
Oh, okay.
Oh, which means you get an extra thing to intimidation rolls. But it's too late.
Oh, how much? Well, yeah, it's too late.
I think it was just like a +2 to intimidation or something while they're jingling.
So I've just walked out of the thing, and I'm heading back to the main street.
Yeah, so you're walking through the general store. You walk out the general store. Delilah says, "Good luck out there, Mr. Tibbs." Wait, what was her? "Look out there, Mr. Tibbs. Please stay safe. I'd hate for some blue arm or something to pop up tomorrow."
Well, at least this time you'll know precisely who it belongs to.
Oh, Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, Mrs. Delilah. And he tips his hat.
Oh, it's Ms. Delilah. So you step outside into the hot afternoon sun. Roll me a Constitution check real quick.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Ooh, okay. That would be a 16.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a little hot, but you're fine. A little sweatier than you usually are.
Okay.
All right, so you have gone to the library / general store. You've gone to the sheriff's office. You've kind of gotten to the inn and saloon a little bit. It's mid-afternoon. People are kind of walking around, going to different shops, doing their day. You see a couple of your your traveling buddies. Where to next? So just so the listener knows, I have provided a map to Ty, which he can feel free to tweet out, but it's just a hand-drawn map. But so where do you want to go next?
I am wondering right now. So I'm looking at a tailor. You know what? I think I'm gonna go to the tailor.
Okay.
I was gonna list them all, but I think that's where I want to go.
Okay, so right next door is the tailor. The tailor's shop is a smaller building, but has an elaborate exterior. The walls are painted a deep red, and there's a lot of very precise detailing in the carpentry. When you enter the store, a small bell chimes. The interior is just as elaborately decorated as you would have guessed from the outside. There are thick rugs on the floor, and mannequins in fine suits and dresses line the walls. The tailor, a kindly-looking human, stands behind the counter. He has a tape measure around his neck and a nice shirt, vest, and trousers. He greets you with a smile and says, "Yes, how can I help you today, sir?"
Well, howdy there, friend. The name's Billy Tibbs, but you can call me Blue. All my friends do, on account of my blue skin.
Yes, hi, my name is Stanley. Please, you can call me Stanley, or, Stanley. That is such an interesting complexion. Are you looking for a nice suit or something to wear that will match your skin?
Well, friend, not quite, I'm not quite in the market, as you can tell. I doff my duster, and you can see, my jacket and my pants are very finely made, but also very well worn, and very, not well kept up. So, they used to be expensive at some point.
He looks and says, yes, so, patches then. Repairs?
Perhaps tomorrow, for today at least. These are the only clothes that I've got on me, so I'd rather not walk around in just my breeches.
Yes, that's fair.
But Mr. Stanley, I just had a couple of quick questions. If you don't mind, if you're not too busy.
No, of course. Would you care to take a seat? Would you like some coffee, tea, water?
Oh, thank you kindly, but I just had myself my daily tea just a moment ago. You see, I go ahead and sit down where he's offered.
It's a very nice, like, plush armchair.
Oh.
Very finely upholstered. He kind of looks like he's nervous about you sitting in it in your, like, dusty clothes, but it's fine.
I would say more my duster is the dusty one, and I'm not wearing that right now. I took it off.
Gotcha.
So you see, friend, Sheriff John, I assume that you're familiar with him. He has asked me to check out these werewolf rumors, and well, as you might be aware, turning into a werewolf involves some changing of the bodily proportions. So I was just wondering if you have had any folks around here who have had regular needs for patches and new clothes around, the full moon.
Sorry, I'm just thinking as to...
Trying to decide whether, it's like, would he have this?
Yeah.
This is a very nice detective work, though, right?
This is good detective work. No, but my place is more of the fine clothing. Most townsfolk can get their normal everyday clothes from the general store where they sell, off the rack clothing. My place is more for your fine suits and dresses, and sadly there's not much call for that in Brotherly, but we keep the doors open with the travelers, which is why it's such a shame that so many have gone missing. It really is. I get to know my clients.
With that, I sit up very straight and just sort of adjust my my torn and ratty, formerly nice shirt, and I say, "Well, as you can see, I'm a man of class myself. I can appreciate someone that cares for the craft and provides the finer things to folks. If you don't mind me asking, how are you able to sustain yourself in a town where folks don't particularly like that?"
Well, like I said, the travelers who come in give me a good bit of business. There's often several balls, places. I don't know. I was just going to bullshit something, but I don't know if I really want to make that. No, I'm going to make that decision. Sorry. You see, up in the Brothers, there are several well-known balls and feasts that happen occasionally. So people come down to Brotherly and get their fine clothing before they go up to the Brothers. Now,
makes sense.
And I do sell things at, I will say, a high price, but I do find work. So, it's all about showing pride in your work.
I raise my eyebrows and give him a wry smile and say, "Well, and you're the only fellow around who can provide such services, I'm sure. That probably helps things out a little bit."
Yes, that doesn't hurt either. Luckily, it's harder for the cloth merchants to get up to the Brothers than it is for them to get down to Brotherly. So there's not as many options up and where the balls are happening either. So
fair.
I do well, and I'm also a shrewd businessman. So, it all comes to how well can you pinch those pennies.
I really actually very much like the idea that the Brothers are this place where, like, once a year folks just, like, come up from all around and will go to this, like, very fancy thing that is happening in this very remote location that is, like, very hard to get to. I dig that.
Good. I'm glad.
Nice cultural flavor. I'm definitely going to steal that for future arcs.
So Stanley looks at you and he's like, "No. I feel, as I said, I get to know my clients, and I feel like I must stand up for one of them now."
"Oh, yes, sir."
"You didn't hear this from me. A tailor must have his integrity, of course."
"Of course."
"But rumors have it that the sheriff is fingering Mr. Tomlin LaCroix for this. I must deny such baseless accusations. Yes, he has been here, but how could it have been him when him and his wife arrived here a month after the first killing? Plus, Mr. Tomlin bought his wife such a nice dress. Werewolves don't have such fine taste in clothing. They're savages. They go out there and eat people. Please, Mr. Tomlin, he's down on his luck these days. It would do well to not bother him. And that is all I will say on the matter.
Well, I appreciate your input, Mr. Stanley. I've always said that a tailor is a man of highest standing and social fortitude. So I'll take your words into high account when I'm making my next plans. If you don't mind me asking, is there anybody around that you do suspect?
I'm not sure, sir. I honestly think that it could just be a feral dog. Honestly, if you want to talk to someone about dogs, I know that the brothers up in the temple have recently purchased a couple for hunting purposes, so it might not be a bad idea to ask them about it.
Well,
But you didn't hear that from me, of course. The integrity and whatnot.
Of course, the integrity of a tailor will not be tarnished, not from my mouth, at least.
I appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. With that, I stand up, I adjust my fine clothing, throw on my duster, which releases a cloud of dirt around the room, and then turn and, tip my head, turn and walk out.
Just come on back if you decide that you need some finer clothing for maybe a ball, perhaps. I can throw in a cravat for free, perhaps.
Oh, I'd appreciate that very much. And with that, I head outside and I look around, and then I'm probably gonna head straight over to the temple. I was gonna head that way anyway, but with his prompting, I'm probably gonna take a little bit more fleet of foot.
Okay, cool. Roll me a Constitution check.
Okay, interesting. I've just realized something that I should have realized earlier. 17.
17? All right, cool. Yep. So you walk on down. So you get to the temple. It's about 3 or 4 in the afternoon at this point when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a left at the crossroads brings you up a hill overlooking the town. On the top of the hill is a large stone temple. While it clearly used to be a very grand sight, the temple is starting to show signs of decay. Stained glass windows telling the stories of Lumen's battle against Nox, and the miracles the light god gave to the people have become dirty. Vines and weeds are growing over the stones that mark the path up to the entrance. To the side, there looks to be a relatively new building, a simple wooden structure with a metal fence. Inside are 2 large mastiffs.
He's jealous.
Yeah, that's the sound of the mastiffs.
Yeah.
My vicious hunting dog has provided us with some got Foley work.
Yeah, nice. So I'm going to just sort of meander my way down and walk up. I probably as I approach, I probably do my poor imitation and remembrance of what Lumen's version of Sign of the Cross is. Just as I look at the building, just barely.
I imagine it's like a circle.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Like a sun or a moon or something like that.
We've specified before what it is, but Tibbs does not actually remember, even though he thinks he does. So he does sort of holds his hand out in front of his chest and just kind of waggles his fingers.
Gotcha.
Thinking that that's what it is.
All right. So do you go inside?
Yeah. Once I probably pause outside for just a moment and then head in.
Okay. So when you
assuming the doors are open.
Yeah. So you creak open the large wooden doors. Inside the temple, there are dozens of dusty pews sitting facing a large, immaculately clean altar area. At the back of the altar is a large shelf that looks to be holding several books of some sort. There's a door on the right side of the building that you can assume leads towards living areas for the priest. On one of the pews is a large man. It's kind of hard to tell his build because he's wearing priest robes.
Mm-hmm.
He is bald and he is eating just a simple sandwich. Roll me a religion check.
Sure. Man, my rolls are killing it.
Yeah, your rolls are very good lately.
Yeah. So I have a -1 for religion, but I still got an 18.
Okay, there's something strange about the altar. You've been in a few looming churches, and most of them don't have bookshelves on the back of them.
Oh, interesting.
It's very similar to in early Christianity in America, churches were all pretty much built the same way. It's the same here. Like, churches of Lumen generally have very similar setups, and very rarely do they have bookshelves in the back of altars.
Yeah.
Roll me a perception check as well.
All right. Oh, here we go. Here's those bad rolls. 9.
Okay. Yeah. That's all you noticed. When you walk in, the priest sitting in one of the pews looks up and he's like, "Oh, what's a voice I haven't used? Oh, damn it! I meant to use a different voice for the tailor, and I've used my priest voice for the tailor. But the tailor voice does not work for the priest."
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes, weary traveler, come to seek Lumen's light. How can I help you, sir? Have you come to pray? Have you come to perhaps confess any sins against our Lord of Light? Have you come to just sit and bask in Lumen's grandeur? How may I help you? My name is Lord. Wait, which one is this? Zebediah. How may I help you today?
Lord Zebediah, howdy, friend. The name's Billy Blue Tibbs. I was coming into town on the instructions of one Sheriff John McDaniels. Perhaps you're friends with him. And I figured I would hop on by the church to pay my respects to the local deities and clergy and whatnot before making my way around town.
Yes. Well, I must say, the town and the Church of Lumen are no longer as closely connected as we used to be, unfortunately. But
it was my understanding that I had heard that Lumen didn't even have any torches in the night this far out away from the fields and plains anymore. I was a little surprised when I heard that you were situated out here.
Well, yes, Mr. Tibbs. Someone must carry the torch against the darkness, and that is us, me and my brother, Zechariah. He's traveling down to Cirque to see if we can get some more resources from the central church there, but unfortunately our prayers have not been answered that route lately. But we must persist. Someone has to hold back the dark of night, as it were. Might I make you some tea?
I would happily take a little bit of tea, sir. And I'll have you know that I think that we're a bit of colleagues on that front, holding back the darkness of the night, as it were. You may be aware, you may have heard of some rumors of some sort of critter causing some problems for folks around these parts.
I've heard the rumors. Stay here. I will be right back with your beverage, and we can really sit down and discuss the matters of the light and the dark.
So when I said that, by the way, I was looking to see how he reacted. So I'd like to roll an insight check, if that's all right.
Yeah, roll an insight check, and I'm gonna roll an insight check as well, just to get an idea as to whether or not you notice anything.
Fuck. 7.
You don't notice anything.
Okay.
He is just kind of looking and like nodding and just yes. Okay. Predators of the night, yes, of course. So he walks over to the door on the right side that I said probably leads towards the living area. He pulls out a key, he opens it, he walks through, and he goes to get your tea. Are you gonna try anything while you are waiting for him to get back with your tea?
Are the books, like, do I have to walk onto the altar to get a good look at the books?
You can walk. Okay, so imagine a church and like where you would go to get communion. You could walk up to like that part and probably see what the books are.
Okay, I'm going to probably stand up and take a look at the books. I'm trying not to. I don't want to disrespect the church by going onto the altar.
Sure.
But I'm trying to get a look to see, are they like new? Do they look like they're being used, or are they covered with dust? Are there any that, any interesting titles, like what, that sort of stuff? See if I can tell what he's been reading about and what he has.
Cool. Roll me an investigation check. At a disadvantage since you're not right up on it. If that's
Damn
fair.
it,
If you think that's fair.
Yeah, that's totally fair because I'm very specifically not. I'm reducing the risk to myself.
Sure.
So yeah, by not being caught. Yes.
What'd you get?
I got a 21 and a 20.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right. So the books themselves.
Non-natural.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. The books themselves, they're standard holy texts.
Okay.
There are some that are like books of rituals, books of that outline spells, standard books that you would find in a church. It's just the
They all seem in the line with Lumen, not with any other general religions.
Correct.
Okay.
The interesting thing is there's scuffing at the bottom of the bookshelf, as if the bookshelf is moved often.
Okay.
And you hear the door open back up and go, "Oh, Mr. Tibbs, are you interested in the work of Lumen?"
Why, yes, there, sir. I find myself interested in all sorts of different deities and pantheons and that sort of stuff. I find when I go down to Cirque, I like to take a spin down to the Congress Monastery and, at their discretion, take a look at some of their libraries and such. Do you mind, sir, if I step up onto the altar and see what sort of things you guys have around here?
Well,
you folks have around here?
Well, Mr. Tibbs, if you don't mind, I don't want to offend. I would, if you would like to read some books, I can grab them for you. This is just areas generally for us men of the cloth. Here's your tea, by the way.
Thank you kindly.
And he passes you a cup, and it's kind of like a chipped cup on a saucer. But it's like nice, but you can tell that it's old.
Yeah. So I probably I nod to him while he's describing like why he doesn't want me up there, and said, "Of course, while I do like to think of myself as a lawful man, as a man supporting the rights of supporting the good for folks, I understand that doesn't necessarily make me a holy man. So go ahead. If there's one or two books up there that you think I might find particularly interesting, I'd love to take a look at them."
Oh yes, of course. And he goes up to the altar. He's kind of looking through the bookshelf. Do you are you drinking the?
While he's doing that, I take a sniff of the tea. Do I notice anything like?
Roll me a perception check, I guess.
Fuck. 7.
You don't notice anything.
I go ahead and start sipping on it.
Okay, cool. So he's grabbing a few books and roll me a perception check and then a constitution check.
Okay. Perception, I got a 19.
Okay, so you notice that as he's kind of looking, he's kind of like looking back at you as well. You also notice a centipede crawling along the wall. A black centipede. And roll me that constitution check with disadvantage.
All right. Well, I did very bad the first time, and I did slightly better the next time, but I'll take that bad one. 10.
You get super drowsy. Mr. Tibbs, are you okay? Here, please, let me take that from you before you drop it. And he takes the china and moves it, like just kind of puts it up on the altar, and he's like, "Please, come, sir, this way."
Okay, sir. Yeah, all right.
He looks at the centipede, like, you're kind of loopy, you're kind of losing it. It looks like he looks at the centipede and says, "Bring him." Then you go black.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Do you think that this is like a halfway point, or do you think we're more than halfway?
I think we're more than halfway.
Okay.
Because there's just one last thing to do.
Okay.
And that's kill Billy Blue. But yeah, we're gonna cut right there, Ty. So how do you want to do it?
I think we're gonna I don't know, man. I think we're gonna pitter patter on out of here. Pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejOydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com.
The Scavengers Network.
Creator-driven,
community-focused,
Treasured content.
Do you like making fun of really, really bad ghost hunting shows?
there's one in particular we enjoy making fun of. It's called Ghost Adventures, and it includes things such as
Bad fashion sense,
grown men yelling at nothing,
outrageously large belt buckles,
too much hair gel,
and unfortunately, a lot of really cringy, painful, and socially unaware stuff too. I'm Cassie.
and I'm Max.
We're the hosts of Insanely Haunted, the show where we watch and review every episode of Ghost Adventures.
Find Insanely Haunted for free wherever you get your podcasts.
This is gonna get cut and put in the bloopers. Oh yeah, Ty. So I sent you that. I sent you that map of Brotherly. I by no means expect you to go to every single one of these. Like, so important. The way I figure we're gonna split it up, and I don't really feel the need to have this in the main recording. Yeah. So there are in this scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 places that you can go to.
Okay.
I expect you to go to 6.
Okay.
At maximum.
Okay.
Because the way I'm going to do it is basically there's going to be morning, afternoon, evening.
Mm-hmm.
And every 2 locations will fill a chunk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And that's not going to count like your first interaction won't count towards that because you're getting in here really early in the morning. But we'll get into that. You ready? You in a good spot?
Okay.
You won with the universe?
I feel so weird because I keep realizing that I don't have anything prepared, and I'm like, oh shit, we're about to start recording. I don't have anything prepared, and then I don't need to.
Hey Ty, just chill. Daddy Eli's got this shit.
Okay, Daddy
All
Eli.
right.
I can't say that again.
Call me Papa Eli. Sorry, Papa Eli. It's less sexual and more friendly.
I don't. Okay.
All right.
Once a year, folks just like come up from all around and we'll go to this like very fancy thing that is happening in this very remote location that is like very hard to get to. I dig that.
Good. Good. I'm glad.
Nice cultural flavor. I'm definitely going to steal that for future arcs.
It came to me because I'm midway through the 3rd book in the Mistborn trilogy, and balls are a big thing. So,
they are, yeah. As is eating silver.
Well, no, not silver. Silver is a non-allomantic metal. I just got to where they introduced silver and talked about how it's perfectly useless unless you just spoiled something for me. Ty, thanks.
I don't think I did. I meant more along the lines of eating metal. Yeah, I forgot which. I don't remember which metals are allomantic. I know tin and stuff.
Tin.
Anyway.
Yeah, we can get through that later. All right, so
we can go through another story's magic system later, off podcast.
Yeah, exactly.